So recently 2 trailers for the new Legends ZA DLC Mega Dimension dropped, and with them came a ton of new info. First off, there's this new character Ansha, who's suspiciously familiar.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down, little one. I am not your mother.
But, Mummy...
Will you quit calling me Mummy?
Being able to go past level 100 for the first time ever. And also, donuts?
Which one you want? You want this one? This one? This one?
Get out!
But I'm sure what people really care about most are the new Mega Evolutions. We got Mega Chimecho,
Yes.
Mega Excalibur, and Mega Zeraora.
Wanna try my Rose toy catch?
Today, I want to try making some Mega Evolutions of my own. Some I think have a high chance of showing up in the DLC, and others I'm just surprised don't already exist. Starting off with Mega Meowstic. Now in my opinion, Meowstic Male and Meowstic Female should get separate Mega Evolutions. And you might be wondering, why when Pyro only got one? Well, Mega Evolutions don't have gender differences. They never have. Pyro is no exception, it's just a gender difference. No change in stats or abilities. Same Pokemon, same Mega Evolution. But what makes Meowstic special is even though male and female Meowstic have the same stats and even the same abilities, they have always had different move pools and hidden abilities. The males get Prankster and a more supportive move pool, while the females have competitive and a more offensive move pool. The decks even start separating their entries in Sword and Shield, with the males having a more defensive instinct and the females being more selfish and aggressive. They're treated almost like separate forms, so I think they should get separate Mega Evolutions. Now while I was doing the initial rough sketches for the designs, I did them side by side to still make them feel like a set. One thing consistent about both forms is their folded ears. They keep their eye patterns hidden to control their psychic power. For their Megas, I wanted their ears to be constantly open, always at full power. Now, their eyes being blanked out when attacking and them being shown to have their eyes closed during battle in the anime gave me an idea. What if their powers made them essentially blinded, and they now see using their tails that I made into a pair of secondary ears with their own eye patterns? These secondary ear tails don't add to their power, these basically just give them observation hockey, being able to sense and predict an opponent's movements and attacks. Since these always felt like very aristocratic Pokemon to me, I wanted to play up that air of nobility in their designs. So I gave the male a suit collar and coattails, and the female a neck ruff and a petticoat. Other than that, this is Mega Meowstic Male and Female, that I'm calling Duke and Duchess.
I could use pants.
Next up we have Mega Slowking. Now Slowking was actually the one that I had multiple ideas for, so I'll be going over 2 designs for it. One thing about Megas is sometimes they're introduced in broken sets. Blaziken came first, then came Sceptile and Swampert. Same with Gardevoir and Gallade, or Glalie and Frostlass. So it always confused me that Slowbro got a Mega Evolution, but never Slowking. When going into this design, I went off Mega Slowbro for inspiration. It goes from having the shelter on its tail, to engulfing its entire body and becoming armor, with no physical change to Slowbro at all. I wanted to take that same concept and apply it to Slowking. Instead of the shelter coming up from the tail, it would come down from the head, this being the first concept stemming from that idea. The shelter now splits into 2, the crown and the armor. These 2 are able to communicate with each other and with Slowking telepathically using the crown jewel and the brooch. So now they're a team of 3 instead of a team of 2. In the same way Mega Slowbro has no physical change, just gains a boost in power and motivation thanks to the changes to Shelter, Mega Slowking is also physically unchanged, but its intelligence multiplies, rivaling Pokemon like Alakazam and Metagross. And in addition to giving it a knightly armor, I also made the neck ruff into a cape. Other than that, here's my first Mega Slowking design, Armored Slowking. Now for my second Mega Slowking design, I'm still going off the same concept of the shelter coming down and covering the body, but instead of becoming a more traditional knightly armor, the shelter's now become more of a mobile throne that Slowking uses to get around with its psychic powers. Think sorta like Frieza's hover chair. While designing this mega, I also had the idea, what if the shelter mouth could close, Slowking could tuck its body in, and become this mini flying castle, and it can just rocket straight into enemies using one of its spires. I really liked this idea even from the rough sketch, and while refining it, I just kept getting more ideas. Like making the crown's horns and the top into castle spires model after Cloyster's spikes, and having the seat of the throne have almost a Shelder-like shape. And also using Shelder and Cloyster's bottom spikes to give the throne legs to stand on while not floating. And there's my second Mega Slowking design. You can call this throne, castle, chariot. There's a lot going on here, but I really like how this one came out. And for the last Pokemon, we have Mega Goodra. Now, I was originally going to do a different Pokemon, but the ideas weren't really coming together how I wanted, and so I scrapped it. So Goodra's a bit of a last minute decision, but one I was much more happy with. One thing I knew for sure going into the design is I wanted to make Goodra part Poison type. Over the years, the Goodra line have had Poison type moves added to their natural move pool, such as Acid Armor, Acid Spray, and Poison Tail, and even more through TM like Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave. And it would really help it against Fairy types. One thing I like about certain Mega designs, especially lately, is how they'll bring in aspects of their pre-evolved forms. And even though Goodra becomes more anthropomorphized as it evolves, I wanted to go that route of bringing aspects of Sliggoo back. I gave it that more snail-like body, but instead of outright getting rid of its legs, I made them more like Gastrodon, where instead of sliding or crawling like a snail would, they do take actual steps while walking. Something I really tried to reconcile with is the idea of having a shell or a tail. How can I add Sliggoo's shell back onto Goodra, keep the shell-shaped tail it can swing around, while also separating it from Hisuian Goodra? And that's where I had the idea to make the tail and the shell the same part. Instead of a shell Goodra can go into, its elongated tail now coils into a cone-shaped shell on its rear, and it can uncoil this tail for long-range swinging attacks. I also wanted to give the green goose spillage more prominence, so I turned them into a large gooey beard, sleeves, and an accent trail along the body to make it more like a sea slug. I think all the inspirations I pulled from for this one really sells Goodra as a much more draconic figure, while still keeping that friendly demeanor it's known for. And with that, here's my Mega Goodra design. And there's my 3 Mega Evolution designs. I guess 3.5 if we're counting Meowstic as separate forms. Now, even though these are sorta meant to be predictions, I really don't expect any of these to make it in. I just think coming up with Mega Evolution concepts is fun. It takes old designs and puts a new spin on them. Let me know which of these designs you like the best, and until next time, later.